Let's talk about Sarah Baartman, Kim Kardashian, and the practice of trying on and then ultimately rejecting blackness. Sarah Baartman was an indigenous South African woman born around 1789 who was ultimately taken from South Africa to Europe and exhibited as a literal exhibit, the point of which was to put her larger buttocks on display. She was very renowned for her figure and she was called the Hottentot Venus. The act of displaying Sarah in front of all of these white people, allowing them to touch her, allowing them to make fun of her body, allowing them to hypersexualize her was incredibly racist, fundamentally racist. And it really was kind of not the dawn, but a clear example of white society fetishizing Black women and their bodies. Sarah arrived in Paris in 1814, and just around that time, a group of writers wrote a musical comedy or a vaudeville about Sarah. The play was called The Hottentot Venus, or Hatred of French Women, and the themes are really diabolical. There are two main characters in the play, Adolphe and Amélie. Adolphe is a man who really hates French women. He's been dogged by two of his wives, and now he's looking for a wife that's une exotique or une sauvage. So he's looking for an African woman to satisfy his desires and to change things up. Amélie is Adolphe's cousin. She's recently widowed and she hears that he's looking for a wife, so she secretly travels to the castle and hides out while she comes up with some sort of diabolical plan. The plan is for this white French woman to don kind of the costumes and the physicalities of Sarah Baartman so as to entice her cousin. She knows her cousin is fascinated with, has fetishized, and is really kind of sexually attracted to the figure of Sarah Baartman, and so she decides to wear a bustle, which is a type of kind of accoutrement under the fabric. We also know at the start of the play that the environment in France is such that the French women have started to exhibit some degree of jealousy towards Sarah Baartman and some degree of jealousy to these exotique or sauvage women because they are so enticing the French men. Amélie is very successful in her disguise and Adolphe falls in love with her very quickly. He's besotted with her shape, besotted with the way she looks. Eventually, Adolphe sees a real image of Sarah Baartman and he realizes that he's in fact not attracted to her. He thinks that she is in fact a savage, that she is not nearly as enticing or attractive as the French women with whom he has become familiar and with whom he is surrounded. And this was Amélie's plan all along. She takes off all of the costume that she's wearing, the disguise as Sarah Baartman, this disguise as a Black woman. She takes off the physical kind of indicators of Blackness, becomes white again, and the two fall in love and live happily ever after. The themes in this play are clear, right? We have the fetishization, the hypersexualization of the Black body, but we also have this idea of this French woman realizing that kind of being Black or looking Black is very fashionable. She deigns to and decides to kind of buy or gather the materials and physicalities that will make her more Black looking. And then when her kind of amour tires of it, she gets rid of it. Once she realizes that Blackness isn't really respectable enough or respected by the man she loves, she gets rid of the Blackness. I think we're very familiar with this cycle, right? It's this idea of approximating Blackness or trying on Black physicality to garner acclaim, to garner attention, to garner popularity. But once you've decided that you've tired of that Blackness or your association therewith, or you want to be viewed as more respectable or more successful, you take it off. And who is the best at this? None other than Kim Kardashian. When she was starting rising to claim, she did so after appearing in an adult film with a Black man. And then she was kind of known for her vaguely ambiguous looks, but she amped that up by approximating Blackness. Kim Kardashian was previously known for her fuller lips, for her fuller behind. There were in fact kind of rumors that she had done so or surgically enhanced her lips, surgically enhanced her behind. She wore Fulani braids on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. She wore Bantu knots. She wore cornrows. She got spray tans, right? She did all of these kind of mechanisms to make herself look Black, but not be Black. And she wore those as she was rising to acclaim. And I think it worked. Kim Kardashian is really freaking famous. This act of trying on Blackness did help to popularize Kim Kardashian in our national kind of memory of her. And in 2014, she appeared on Paper Magazine, the Break the Internet cover. And in it, she looks very, very similar to kind of the proverbial images of Sarah Baartman. In it, Kim Kardashian is kind of peak approximating Blackness. Her backside is very, very pronounced in a way that, again, is similar to Sarah Baartman. She is tan. She has full lips. She is trying on Blackness and celebrating her own success, but she herself is not Black. Recently, Kim Kardashian is kind of tired of her approximation to Blackness. We're all joking that she's in her white woman era. She's much, much thinner. She's been wearing her blonde hair a lot more regularly. She wore that Marilyn Monroe gown to the Met Gala. Like, she is really kind of moving away from her Blackness and getting closer to whiteness. And I don't think that it's a coincidence that this movement away from Blackness is coinciding with her being regarded as a serious businesswoman, as a woman who's deciding to become an attorney. And it also coincides with the rise of conservatism and traditional values in this country. The cycle is harmful, right? Because ultimately it suggests that what is valuable about Black culture and Black people is their culture, is their fashion styles, are their trends, but not the Black people themselves. And while these people who are trying on Blackness, practicing Blackness, can ultimately distance themselves from it when they're tired of it or when they realize that it might be hampering them, Black people themselves cannot distance themselves from the racial contracts that this country has put together.